Good morning, children. Sairam. So, let's continue with our geography, chapter number 4, agriculture. Children, let's complete the portion left of this chapter. In our previous class of geography, we have covered major food crops, in which we discussed about maize and then about wheat, the climatic conditions, the type of farming required, then about millets. So, in short, we can say we discussed about a large variety of crops. We discussed about tea, coffee, cotton, etc. So, now we are going to continue with the leftover practices and a new topic. So, children, let's continue the new topic, that is agriculture development. I repeat, agricultural development. See, children, before continuing with any other thing, we require agriculture, cultivation, land, labor. These are the main terms which are required by anyone. Obviously, if we want a good crop, we need land, we need to have the knowledge of cultivation processes and how to sow a seed, how to remove weedicides, etc. etc. So, and if we want to have a good harvest, I repeat, if we want to have a good harvest, then how we can receive it. So let's continue. See, children, when we talk about agricultural development, it refers to efforts made to increase farm production. I repeat, efforts made to increase farm production in order to meet the growing demand of increasing population. This can be achieved in many ways, such as increasing the cropped area, number of crops grown. You can have better irrigation facilities, using fertilizers, using pesticides, using high yielding variety of seeds. Many different kinds of processes can be followed. If we see, when we talk about the agricultural development, first of all, we need to have arable land. Arable land means the land which is fit for cultivation, which is perfect for growing crops. What are crops actually? In the very starting, I introduced you with the term crops. Anything which is grown and used by us is called as a crop. Okay. Now, agriculture worldwide has developed enormously. Fine. But what about the developing countries? See, children, there are economies. The developed economies have actually adopted to the new and the technological ways of agriculture, but in developing countries, still they lack some of these particular processes. Now, agriculture has developed at different places in different parts of the world. Developing countries with large crops are grown on small holdings, mostly for subsistence. Subsistence means subsistence farming. Larger holdings are more suitable for commercial agriculture in USA, Canada, and Australia. Now, what are larger holdings? That is, the people, the farmers, or the owners who own large lands. The large lands or the big farms are suitable for commercial agriculture. And then, with the help of these two case studies of farms, one from India and other from USA, let's just understand about agriculture in the developing and a developed country. Fine, let's talk about a farm in a land in India. A farm in India. Now, there is, yes, there is a small village in Adilabad in Ghazipur district of Uttar Pradesh. Munna Lal is a farmer Mulna Lal is a farmer in this village who has farmland about 1.5 hectares. His house is in the main village. He purchases high yielding varieties. First point, he purchases HYV, that is high yielding varieties of seeds from the market every alternate, make it a point, alternate year. The land is fertile, that is arable land, and he grows at least two crops, that is mixed farming, in a year, which are normally wheat or rice and pulses. The farmer takes advices from his friends and elders as well as government agricultural officers regarding farming practices. He takes a tractor on rent, that is the technology input on rent for plowing his field, though some of his friends still use traditional method of using bullocks for plowing. There is a tube well in the nearby field which he takes on rent to irrigate his field, that is irrigation facilities. So this is case number 1. Fine. Now let's switch to case number 2. Munna Lal also has two buffaloes and few hens. Okay, this is still one. This is not case 2. This is actually case 1 only. We are dealing with the farm in India right now. He sells milk in the cooperative store located in the nearby town. He is a member of the cooperative society, which also advises him on the type of fodder for his animals, safety measures to protect the health of livestock, and artificial insemination. All the members of the family help him in various farm activities. Sometimes he takes credit from a bank or agricultural cooperative society to buy HIV seeds and implements. He sells his produce in the mandi located in the nearby town. Since majority of the farmers do not have and lack storage facilities, they are forced to sell the produce even when the market is not favorable to them. In recent years, the government has taken some steps to develop storage facilities. This is case number 1. Now, case number 2, a farm in USA. The average size, I repeat, the average size of a farm in USA is much larger than that of an Indian farm. A typical farm size in the USA is about 250 hectares, that is 250 hectares. Point number 1. Then a farmer generally resides in the farm. Some of the major crops grown are, now note the points that are grown: wheat, corn, soybean, cotton, sugar beet. Now this is the second point, that the farmer grows different types of crops. Now, third point, Joe Heron, a farmer in the Midwest USA in Iowa State, owns about 300 hectares of land. He grows corn on his field after making sure that the soil and water resources meet the needs of this crop. Adequate resources and measures are taken to control pests. Point number 3. To control the pests that can damage the crop. From time to time, he sends the soil samples to a soil testing laboratory to check whether the nutrients are sufficient or not. The results help Joe Horan to plan a scientific fertilizer program. His computer is linked to the satellite, which gives him a precise picture of his field. This helps him to use chemical fertilizers and pesticides wherever they are required. He uses tractors, seed drills, leveler, combined harvester, and thresher to perform various agricultural operations. Grains are stored in the automated grain storage or dispatched to market agencies. The farmer in USA works like a businessman and not like a peasant farmer. So, children, by this, what we can actually understand, if we take both the cases, case number 1 and case number 2, that is case in India, a farm case of India, and farm case of USA, what happens generally, the things that generally help up is that how you plan. Point number one, how things have been planned and how the things should be planned. Second, how much land we have, what is the nutritive value of the soil, what crops to be grown, and what combination of crops to be grown, how to use chemical fertilizers as well as insecticides, pesticides, etc. Land quality and land improvement are two terms. One is land quality, but improvement is regularly required. So you can see a farmer in USA lives like a businessman and not like a peasant farmer. So this is the way which actually defines how agriculture has got a new face in worldwide. In developed country like India, we still need to work more on this point. So children, after by this chapter is finished, and I want you to give a set of instructions and I want to explain some question answers. So just give me a second and we'll just continue with the explanation of the work. So children, the first question is that what are the inputs and outputs of agriculture in general? If we talk about what are the inputs and outputs, this I've already explained, but still I want to put that in your mind again. The inputs in agriculture are seeds, fertilizers, machinery, labor, etc. And the operations involved are, so first of all plowing, then sowing, then irrigation, weeding and harvesting. As outputs of the, I repeat, the operations involved in agriculture are plowing, sowing, irrigation, weeding and harvesting. As outputs of the farming activity, a farmer gets crops, wool, dairy products and poultry products. Fine children. Then another important question. What do you understand by agricultural development? Agricultural development refers to efforts made to increase productions in farms so as to meet the ever growing demand of the population. That is, we've just read and I have just explained you about the concept of agricultural development. That is, in short, if we see that what is agricultural development? Development and agriculture, that is developing agriculture so that everyone receives the benefits. The activities, children, though the activities which come under this development, you can say the improving methods of irrigation, then growing more crops as in pertaining to the system of mixed farming or intercropping, or you can say growing single two crops simultaneously, as I showed you in the slides also, that we can grow rice. If a particular farmer is growing rice on the border, he can actually plant banana trees or sugarcane trees or sugarcane plants or even bamboo trees also. Fine. In this way, children, the soil retains its soil gets increased in the nutritive values, and the agriculture takes a boost. The agricultural harvest takes a boost. One more important question. Question is that write a short note on types of economic activities. Give examples. The three type of economic activities you all know: primary activities, secondary activities, and tertiary activities. Now, what are primary activities? Which deal with the direct extraction and production of natural resources. For example, agriculture, fishing, mining. Now, what is secondary activity? Activities which are concerned with the processing of natural resources, like manufacturing of finished products. Now, in the end. Next is tertiary activities. What are these activities? Which fall neither in the category of primary nor in the category of secondary. So they form a support system, okay, like selling goods, advertising, banking, giving loans, etc. These are tertiary activities. Now, if we talk about their basic function of these type of economic activities, these activities are actually a basis, or you can say they lie down a basis in the transformation from a plant to a finished product. Like if we start with the first primary, secondary and tertiary, it is a you can say go flow process, that is starting from the very initial process to the finalized process. This is the role of these three activities, and they are equally important and interlinked with each other. So children, for now, this is all, and you will get the questions in the PDF form for the written work. Thank you, and Saira.